Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and we are finally here. We are at the March 2024 Astrology Transit Overview. I know I'm a little late getting this. It's the 4th, like 9:37 p.m. on the 4th here, but we're here. I'll make sure I get this reading out to you guys. We can go over the entire month of March, just do a quick overview, touch on some of the major days, and then, of course, I will be drawing cards for each of the 12 signs. And, of course, I will be posting those timestamps in the description so you can go and check out your sun, your moon, your rising, your Mars, your Venus, your Mercury, whatever you want to check out, or if you want to check it out for your friends, of course, too. I'm going to be using a couple of different decks today, too. So one of the decks is going to be my Moon Oracle deck. Just considering the fact that with this whole month, it's really going to be the moon that's going to be triggering a lot of stuff. I thought it would be applicable to pull that card so you can see what phase of the moon or what you should really be paying attention to for this month. So without further ado, though, I'm going to go ahead and bring up that transit overview calendar. I will show you guys a few of the charts for some of the major days, really the mega important days of the month. I'm going to be showing you those charts, and then we will hop into drawing for the 12 signs. Right. So here is your March 2024 transit calendar, right? Today is the 4th. So we did have Mercury sextile Uranus, and the moon entered into Capricorn earlier today. So as you can see with the rest of this week, it's somewhat chill, I would say, until you get to Friday when the moon enters the dark phase. And we're going to see Mercury also conjunct Neptune, and then the moon will enter into Pisces at the same time. So definitely a lot of stuff going on there. We'll talk about a little bit what happens leading up to that. And of course, you have that Saturn. So tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to see Mars make the sextile over to the North Node and trine the South Node. That's pretty much it. That's like the main thing that's going on with that. Mars, of course, the ruler of Aries and planet of war and stuff. And it's over here in Aquarius. And it's going to make, like I said, these nice positive aspects to the North Node. An opportunity opens up, and then you have the trine to the South Node. So it's going to be harmonious energy as far as that goes. But Mars can still get triggered, can still get inflamed, can still kind of be impulsive, if you will. So even though these are positive aspects, of course, with that moon in Capricorn too, we're looking to definitely ground a lot of things, ground our emotions, try to come up with some game plans and how we're going to move forward. And, I think the moon in Capricorn is really actually going to support this Mars, especially considering the fact that Mars is exalted in Capricorn. It just left there not too long ago. But, this is a different kind of Mars. We've never seen a Mars that conjuncted Pluto and Aquarius. We haven't seen that in our lifetime. So this is a different kind of Mars, so just keep that in mind. The next day, of course, we're going to see Mars sextile over to Chiron. So, its first sextile is the North Node. It's going to sextile Chiron because, they are traveling with each other. Although they are separating now, Chiron is moving forward. Of course, the nodes always move backwards, right? And then we're going to see that moon enter into Aquarius. So it's going to go from that grounding energy to that more kind of light energy that Aquarius is, even though it is fixed air. So emotionally, we're going to kind of shift. And I think it's interesting that this happens on the day that Mars does make this sextile to Chiron, because whenever the moon goes into Aquarius, we have a tendency to be a little bit more emotionally detached from our reality, which could be a good thing and a bad thing. The positive aspect is that we don't necessarily get too emotionally entangled, I guess, if you will, in certain situations and stuff like that. And the Mars sextile in Chiron can definitely bring about a little bit of a sensitivity, but there could be some opportunities opening up here to where I call Chiron, the key to your superpowers and unlocking those doors in your life. So there could definitely be some opportunities to kind of open up some new doors in your life on Wednesday, to kind of, at the very least, to bring about some healing so you can actually really move forward. That moon entering into Aquarius will allow us to not get so emotionally wrapped up in it to where we just, are just feeling the wounds and feeling the hurt and feeling the trauma, that Chiron can sometimes bring. Especially with it being here in Aries, we could be taking things very, very personally. With Mars being the ruler of Aries, we could definitely be taking things personally, even if good opportunities open up, even if, maybe something is pointed out, maybe like a scar is pointed out to us or whatever like that. But the moon into Aquarius will allow us to hopefully not take things too personally. Now, Thursday is a day of building energy. It is the first of quite a few days of building energy where essentially planets aren't going to be making major aspects to each other, but they are going to be closing in on those aspects. And it's really, if anything, it would have been the moon that makes stuff, making aspects on these days. With it moving into Aquarius the day before, this would be the day that we see the moon conjunct Mars and Venus. So it's not like nothing's happening on these days. It's just really more of the moon making aspects. And because the moon moves so fast, a lot of times energies can be a bit more subtle. But considering the fact that we're building up to a dark moon, we're probably going to feel this a little bit more. Now, Friday, we had that dark moon phase, which is the last 30 degrees before a new moon. Now, this is going to be happening, and it's going to be happening pretty much right at the end of Aquarius, going into Pisces. So having a dark moon in Pisces with Mercury on Neptune, honestly, this is definitely the first intense day of the month, just because, first of all, it's on a Friday. It's a dark moon phase. Whenever things happen in a dark moon, this is like that, like I said, it's that last 30 degrees. It's 330 to 360 degrees. This is Piscean energy, and this is 12th house energy, and it's in the natural 12th house. So it's a double whammy, especially when you have the planet of communication in fall with Neptune and Pisces, which Neptune is arguably the strongest planet in the zodiac right now. So you have arguably the strongest planet meeting up with the weakest planet on Friday, the 8th. This would not be the best weekend, I would say, to go out to clubs. This is a weekend starting on Friday because we get 4 major days pretty much in a row. We don't really get grounding energy until Tuesday. This is a day where I would seriously caution against kind of going out and getting involved into weird Neptunian situations. Drug abuse could be high on a day like Friday, especially with the moon in that dark phase, and with Mercury on that Neptune. This really can, honestly, drug abuse can be pretty high on a day like today. Just violence in general. I caution against, really going out and doing too much. You might want to kind of lay low on Friday and shit. Especially considering the fact that once Saturday day or Saturday hits, you're going to see Mars square over to Uranus. So that adds like another element, another challenge, if you will, being that Uranus is in Taurus, that deals with groups of people, and Mars is in Aquarius. So, Uranus much rather be where Mars is, but Mars doesn't really care about being in Taurus like that. So this can breed jealousy, that like Saturday could. This can bring, potential inflamed situations to large groups of people that you probably think that you would have similar values to, but it can bring up some very weird out of nowhere situations. At least we do have the sun in sextile to Uranus during this time, but the danger here, of course, is the fact that Mercury just is finishing its conjunction to the Neptune the day before. So it's like there can be this element where we kind of want to balance things out with the sun there. And maybe we think that situations are better than they are, but this could be a good thing as far as like opening up spiritually. I think it could be a good weekend for, spiritual work, if you will, shadow work, working on ourselves. But as far as kind of getting lost in the sauce and escapism, escapism is going to be high this weekend. Like, I'm not gonna lie. From the 8th to the 9th, escapism is going to be very, very high. I would seriously be wary of drug overdoses and stuff like that. I really would be. But there's some opportunities to definitely, especially with Uranus being in Taurus, and I think of like the toroidal field, it can be a great day to do some clearing of energy on Saturday, especially leading up to that Pisces new moon. This will give us an opportunity to kind of clear out some, some kind of like junk It's like junk energy, if you will. Like, not that energy is junk, but I think it'd be a good time to kind of replenish and restore and recycle energy. Because when I think of Pisces, I think of recycling. I think it takes all the energies that came before, all the signs that came before it, and it has this massive big picture, but then it still recycles the energy and then goes back into Aries. So I think this could be a great weekend to recycle energy, to kind of take stuck energy and to move it and recycle it so it can become something new, become something more youthful, and you can create from that space. So I think that's the positive thing of this weekend, the 8th and the 9th and the 10th. I just think it's going to be very, very intense, especially leading up to the 10th. We're going to see that Pisces new moon with Mercury entering into Aries, and we're going to see Mercury sextile in Pluto, and then we're going to see the moon entering into Aries. I'll go ahead and show you guys that chart actually too, because I have it right up here. So this is the chart for, oh wait, hold on, wait. I had it on the 10th and now it's back on the 4th. Hold on, wait a minute. I had it right there, but then I don't know what happened. So here, let me move this back to, because it happens like really early in the morning. Like it's like 5:30 in the morning essentially. So yeah, you see this happening, right? We have that new moon in Pisces at 20 degrees, right? It is in semi-sextile to Mars, right? So, and we're going to see, of course, Mercury shift into a new sign. It's definitely going to be feeling better that it's in Aries, but, it immediately makes a sextile to Pluto. So that's kind of the interesting thing. There could be some opportunities that open up here, but now that Mercury has moved into Aries, at least it's not talking underwater anymore. It can feel, it's not really feel, it can start to not feel the pressure of Neptune, but it is heading towards the North Node now in Chiron. So it's like we kind of get past that illusion. I think Neptune is really going to be, honestly, that's going to be kind of a boss battle. I'm not even going to lie. Like that Friday before, it's kind of like a boss battle. That's the whole Mercury conjunct Neptune. If you can get past that boss battle, Gucci. Because like then you get to this new moon, and this is a definite refreshing point here. But it's going to be a very emotional new moon. It is a 20-degree moon. 2 + 0 is 2, so it goes back to being the moon. So it's going to be a very emotional moon, right? Now, of course, as the day continues, if I just move this forward, we're going to see Mercury hit 1 degree, right? So Mercury will sextile Pluto pretty much right before the moon enters into Aries. And I think it's interesting that the sextile happens right when the moon is on the degree. So Neptune actually retrograded at 27 degrees. So it never made it to 28 degrees. So I think it's interesting that the moon's going to be right on 28 degrees during this sextile. So there's a lot of things that we're not used to seeing. Now, we're not used to seeing this aspect right here either. Because I want to say last year, I'm pretty sure Mercury was behind Pluto. Let's see. Yeah. Hold on, wait a minute. Where am I looking? Okay, yeah, I see that. So I guess we did actually see a Mercury in Aries sextile Pluto. So and it's good to just kind of do this like in the moment with you guys so y'all can see. But we did actually, oh wait, no, it did not happen. It did not happen. They sextiled in Pisces and in Capricorn. So they actually did not sextile in Aquarius and Aries. So we actually did not see that. In fact, Mercury got all the way to 9 degrees before Pluto even entered into Aquarius last year. So once again, we're getting another first. We've been getting a lot of those, a lot of firsts in a long time, mind you. The first in our lifetimes, our lifetime, that we have seen something like this. So that's important to consider, you know what I'm saying? And of course, you'll see that by the end of the day, that moon will shift into Aries and it will conjunct Mercury as well. It's going to actually move past Mercury by the end of the day. at least here on the East Coast, and no, the whole country, yeah, but definitely here on the East Coast, it will actually move past that Mercury. So, like I said, that is going to be a pretty intense weekend. We'll talk a little bit more and go a little bit more in depth when we get there, because like I said, this is just the overview. But 8th, 9th, 10th, pretty intense. And then you go into Monday, and then you have Venus entering into Pisces. Good thing about that is that Venus likes to be in Pisces. It's exalted there. So that's kind of a nice thing. But considering it's like Venus is going to come into its vacation home in Pisces, and it's going to be like, what the fuck? Like, because it has to deal with Saturn. It has to deal with Neptune, right? So it's not like Venus is coming home to Pisces and it's just going to be, rainbows and sunshine. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a little intense, Venus coming into this spot. We'll start to feel better as far like from a Venus aspect in general, but it still is going to have to conjunct Saturn. Still is going to have to conjunct Neptune, right? On Tuesday, of course, the moon is going to enter into Taurus. That's going to bring about some nice grounding energy. We'll start to feel good, over the next few days. It will conjunct Jupiter. It'll conjunct Uranus, right? So we have building energies, back-to-back days, 13th to 14th, and then pretty much at midnight going into Friday, the moon is going to enter into Gemini. And then we get another day of building energy. So you can see that the universe kind of gives us a bit of a break, after the intense weekend that is the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th. We get Venus moving into its exaltation. We get the moon moving into its exaltation. So we do get a couple of nice things right there, right? And then 12th to the 16th is pretty chill. I don't think it'll be super intense. Like I said, the moon would just be essentially conjuncting those energies in, Taurus with Jupiter and Uranus. Yeah, it will square Pluto. Yeah, it will square Mars. But, I don't think that those will be that intense, if you will. And then, of course, like I said, it will move into Gemini. Now we get to 17th, which is going to be the first quarter moon. So we're going to see that moon make that first quarter square over to the sun. At the same time, the sun will conjunct Neptune. So it's like, and then the moon will enter into Cancer. So another rather emotional day where the moon, like I said, is, going to be squaring the sun in the last decade. So the sun is getting ready to move into Aries. Spring is upon us, essentially, right? So that day is going to be a bit intense, but it's probably not going to seem as intense compared to the week before. Like the weekend before is probably not going to seem as intense. That being said, even it's still the sun, right? So the sun is getting ready to go into its exaltation of Aries, and it's now going to be illuminating the Mercury conjunct Neptune. It's going to start to bring light to it. So some people are going to feel the Mercury Neptune on that day. Some people, what goes down, what's going to go down behind closed doors and in secrets and all those sort of things. This is going to be the day, the 17th, where a lot of things get revealed, or things start to become more revealed and highlighted. So I think it's important to pay attention to the 17th for that very reason alone. And honestly, whenever you have the sun conjuncting a planet, especially an outer planet, it always brings up a pretty intense and potent energy. Now, moving on to that Monday and Tuesday, we're going to see that moon squaring the nodes. I normally don't put stuff as far as like the moon making aspects on here, but I went ahead and did it for this one because I thought it was still important. And we're going to see Mercury conjuncting the north node and opposing the south node, right? So Mercury is moving fast. It's moving fast in Aries at this point. We'll see the moon entering into Leo, of course, on that Tuesday, which is going to bring up some nice fiery energy. So that's a good thing. We're going to see a shift into more fiery energy, even though we're going to see Venus in the Pisces and stuff. Where, Mercury's going to go into fire. We're going to see the moon go into fire, which is kind of nice, So we don't really have a lot of fire energy right now, So that's kind of the nice thing. So if you've been feeling not as motivated, or it's a little bit harder to feel creative or get the creative juices flowing, or to kind of enact certain things or initiate certain things, it's because we don't have a lot of fire. But we're going to start to get more fire, on the 10th, when you see Mercury enter into Aries. But then that following week, like I said, Moon will enter into Leo. And then, of course, we do have the Sun, which is going to enter into Aries on the 20th, heralding spring in the Northern Hemisphere, fall in the Southern Hemisphere. What's interesting is that Mercury is going to conjunct Chiron on this day as well. So, it's like this, we start to feel better, and then we immediately get hit with the Mercury conjunct Chiron, which is not going to be easy. And I'm just going to be upfront. Like, it's not going to be the easiest conjunction to deal with because, like I said, they're going to amplify each other's energy. That's what a conjunction does. The planets amplify each other's energy. But let's go ahead and show you guys that chart as well. So, bam, I already have it right here for you guys. So we see that the moon enters into Leo on that Tuesday, late at night, right? So it's going to be late at night. And then we're going to see, bam, pretty much the 19th going into the 20th. I have it on the 20th on my calendar, but because for most people it's around that time. But anyways, we're going to see the Sun enter into Aries. And like I said, this is nice, This is actually a pretty nice energy. The moon, it will trine the Sun and water, before it makes its way into Leo. We have the Sun right here at 0 degrees, moving into Aries, like I said, which is pretty nice. We're going to, of course, see Mercury as the day progresses. We're going to see it hit that 18th degree and make the conjunction to Chiron, right? Now, of course, this is happening while the moon in Leo is in quincunx to Venus, so that's going to be fun. So there's definitely going to be a bit of an awkward energy here. This moon in Leo definitely wants to feel positive and feel the joy and feel happiness and feel creativity and feel like it wants to feel like the roar come from within. It wants to feel special. Let's be real. It wants to feel special. It wants to feel like it has the it factor. But the quincunx over to Venus is interesting because Venus, while exalted in Pisces, is coming into its conjunction with Saturn. So it's like we want to receive these beautiful things in our life because Venus is all about receiving, right? So we want to receive these beautiful things in our life and receive this bigger vision, this bigger dream, but Saturn is there. So Saturn's going to be like, you can do that, but you should consider this thing and this thing and that thing and this thing. You got to take care of all these other little details. You got to take care of all these little other details. Make sure we got all of our ducks in a row, if you will. And that's kind of the weird thing about it, too, because Saturn actually would prefer to just delegate, right? Prefer to just delegate stuff. But I think the thing is that this quincunx is going to provide a bit of a awkward energy here because while Saturn is kind of delegating and Venus wants to receive this bigger vision, if you will, there's still the whole question of, okay, how are we going to get it done? How is it going to work? How is it going to happen? And then, of course, you have Mercury with Chiron here. So if we're trying to logic our way through it, Chiron's kind of there and is reminding us of our inadequacies, where we may have come up short in the past, getting our ego, like when those times that our ego got bruised, the times where we actually got bruised, you know what I'm saying? It's bringing up all of those different things, right? Mercury rules the extremities, and with it being with Chiron, I would not this could be a day where you may stub your toe, or you may hurt your hand or your arm, or you may overstretch something. Something weird could happen on a day like this. You know what I'm saying? But I think it can still be a very positive day for us, realizing that we are far more powerful than we give ourselves credit for, and we're far more capable than we give ourselves credit for. It's just going to be a little bit awkward. And that awkward energy is only going to last for a little bit because the moon is going to come off the quincunx to Venus, but then it's immediately going to go into a quincunx with Saturn. So you know what I'm saying? So like it's like we want to receive like this bigger vision and receive this beautiful stuff. You know, we want to be Venus inside the shell. We want to be the pearl in the shell that is our life. But sometimes we don't feel like that shiny pearl. Sometimes we feel like just a clump of sand that doesn't really have a lot of form to it yet. You know, and sometimes life is like that. You know, sometimes we're a little lumpy. And with the Mercury and Chiron, we can overly identify with that lumpiness, and we can start to take the lumpiness personally. We're not realizing that that is simply just a stage in our life, and that stage is not going to last like that forever. And I think that's the really important thing to remember on a day like Wednesday, because, like I said, spring is here and new possibilities are here. You know, we're going to see the moon is going to trine the north node as well. So it ends off on a pretty positive foot, you know, and sextiling the south node at 15 degrees. 15 is it's an equalizing kind of energy. So the energy, I think, will kind of equalize out. And if you remain positive and uplifted, and yeah, be maybe, you know, we'll probably be a little bit more aware of our shortcomings. We may be a little bit more aware of our traumas and our wounds and all that sort of stuff. But we can take those and see the power in that, and see the gifts in those things, and see what the lessons in those things. And like I said, not overly identifying with it, but seeing it as a stepping stone to our next level, to that next stage in life, right? So now, of course, we're going to see the Sun sextile Pluto, of course, because it just comes into Aries. So we're going to see that. Venus will conjunct Saturn on Thursday. So that's going to be a pretty fun energy. That's why I think it's still a very important date. I'm only picking 3 mega important dates. So, and honestly, this is a day where like it's pretty close. Like the 8th, honestly, is a good contender for a mega important date. I would say that the 21st is a pretty good contender, just because of the nature of the conjunction with Venus and Saturn, because that can definitely be a pretty intense energy. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the 21st. Friday, we're going to see that moon enter into Virgo, and Mars is going to enter into Pisces. So that's important simply for the fact that Mars is switching to another sign. Building energy, Venus sextile Jupiter, moon is entering into Libra. So at least the weekend is somewhat chill, but bam, full moon lunar eclipse in Libra. Arguably the most powerful day of the month. Probably the most powerful day of the month. And it seems like that's been a trend, where the most powerful day of the month is somewhere in the last week of the month. So, of course, I'm going to show you guys that chart as well for the 25th. So I'm going to just go ahead and bring up that lunar eclipse chart. Like I said, it's happening at 5. Now, this is going to be happening in the wee early hours of the morning. So let's go ahead and show you guys that. So bam, 5 degrees this lunar eclipse will be happening at. All right. Venus coming off of the conjunction to Saturn. Mars now heading towards this conjunction with Saturn, which won't happen this month. I think it'll happen, it happens, in the following month. And we have Mercury, of course, moving pretty fast over there in Aries. So now we have more fire energy. We have Mercury and the sun here, right? So the firepower is starting to come back a little bit, but then, of course, we get this major eclipse, and then we'll be in between eclipses, building up to the major new moon solar eclipse that will be happening in Aries at the beginning of April. So first, we get the lunar eclipse, and like I said, this is going to be a very intense one, being that the moon will be in Libra. So we're definitely going to be a little bit more focused on our relationships and how we connect to other people and how we relate to other people. We'll talk a little bit more about this date as we get closer. I think this eclipse is going to be a doozy, first one of the year, and definitely is going to, it's definitely a hell of a start to the astrological new year. That's for damn sure. 5 days into the astrological new year, we get an eclipse. So that's going to be pretty intense. So now I'm going to bring back up that calendar. And as you can see, for the rest of the month, kind of get a little bit of a break. Building energy, moon went into Scorpio. So that moon, of course, will be opposing all of this Taurus energy. It's going to square Pluto as soon as it comes into Scorpio. So you got that. Venus sextiling Uranus on the 28th. The moon will come back into Sagittarius, so we're going to see the moon in Sagittarius twice this month. And then back-to-back days of building energy from the 30th and the 31st. So that's kind of how this month goes. It's like we get some intense energy, kind of slacks off, get some intense energy, kind of slacks off, get some intense energy, kind of slacks off. So that's kind of really, I would say, even from the 20th to the 25th, we're not really getting a break. Because, yeah, we get that Saturday of building energy, but then we have, and then, of course, we have the 24th, but then we go right into that full moon. So we only get a couple of days in between. Whereas that first one, we get 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, in my opinion, are pretty chill days, not too intense. Then we get a pretty decently intense day on the 17th, but it probably won't seem as much compared to the 10th before. That being said, still Sun-conjunct Neptune is going to be pretty gnarly. So, but at least the month ends on a somewhat chill note. But that's the weird thing, because we will be in between eclipses. So it will feel eerily silent. That's the weird thing about it, is that even though the energy is somewhat chill and not super intense, does not mean that things aren't percolating underneath the surface. Because, like I said, going into April, we will be heading towards that new moon solar eclipse, which is going to be a bang of energy. And that, honestly, is an understatement. So, in any event, that's what I have for you guys for the astrological portion of this. Now we are going to be getting into the cards himself. I'll be drawing cards for each of the 12 signs. And yeah, so let me just get a sip of water real fast. If you guys want a copy of that calendar, of course, please let me know. I have no problem. Oh my goodness. Did you see that? Let me just throw all of my shit around. Oh man. Anyways, I am going to make sure that I notate the timestamps for the 12 signs. So it will be easier for me to go back and input these in the description. And I don't have to do that awkward thing where I'm just like scrolling through and trying to find it and all that sort of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So here we go. I'm just gonna, where am I gonna put this? I want to make sure I have enough space. So I feel like I am running out of a little bit of space here. So I'm gonna make sure that I don't do that. So, okay, that's fine. It'll work out. All right, Aries. We're gonna start with you. Of course, we are going to go in order. So, all right, Aries. Let's see. So, like I said, I'm not going to draw too much. I'm just going to draw a couple of cards and then draw an oracle card for each sign. So, because otherwise, this video will end up going like 3 or 4 hours. All right. All right, Aries. Let's see what we got for you this month. All right, Aries. Aries, I have the Sun card for you, It is in reverse, so I mean, it is going to be your birthday period here, starting on the 19th to 20th. So it's interesting that I got the Sun card here in reverse for you. So Aries, I feel like this only applies for like the first couple of weeks for you because you're probably not feeling like a lot of firepower. This probably goes for all fire signs because there's like no fire right now in the sky. So you're probably feeling like you're a little bit dim right now. You're probably feeling like you're not really yourself, but you're going to definitely start to feel more like yourself once we start to get a little bit more fire. Once Mercury comes into Aries and everyone's starting to think like an Aries, that could be a whole movie, think like an Aries. But then, of course, the sun's going to come there and you're going to feel a lot better. You're going to feel a lot better. Bottom of the deck, I do have the Five of Swords. I do have the Five of Swords also in reverse. I feel like this could be, you may be looking at what other people have right now, Aries, and maybe you're getting a little jelly. I think this really comes down to, you need to look within your own heart and see what's like working out for you right now, Aries, and not really worry about other people, which is kind of weird that you would be worried about other people in general because generally, Aries, you don't give a fuck about what other people think and stuff. But I think lately, Aries, you kind of have been giving a little bit more of a fuck. And I think because, especially considering the fact that we do have this full moon lunar eclipse that's going to be happening for you in your seventh house, you are going to be actually giving a little bit more of a fuck. And you're probably more than you like to admit. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, Aries, But at the same time, you don't have to give as big of a fuck as you probably think you have to. You don't have to like change everything like and completely reinvent the wheel right now, Aries. I think, like I said, this first few weeks, you're probably gonna be feeling a little bit weird, especially with all the Pisces energy gets more intense and we get Mercury on Neptune and then the Sun on Neptune, and then of course we have the new moon of Pisces, and it's happening. This is all happening in your 12th house. So I know Aries right now are just kind of wanting to break through and not just be in their fields and not just be in their subconscious 12th house shit. Like that's kind of where Aries is right now. But it's going to get better. The light is coming, spring is coming, and you will definitely start to feel more like yourself, that third week of the month. So just bear with it for the first couple of weeks, and I think you'll be okay, right? Now for the moon card. The moon card, I have new moon in Capricorn. So obviously there's not going to be a new moon in Capricorn, but you do want to pay attention to whenever the moon is in Capricorn, or you also want to pay attention to whenever the moon conjunct Saturn. So I would say right now, obviously, because the moon is in Capricorn right now, but also pay attention to whenever the moon hits Saturn. And the day that the moon will hit Saturn, let's just go ahead and pull that up for you, just so you can see when that is. Let's see, let me pull that up. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. So let's see. So yeah, so you're going to want to pay attention. It looks like it's going to be that pretty intense weekend. You want to pay attention essentially on Saturday, the 9th. I think it's going to be a pretty important day for the Aries here. We're going to see that moon conjunct Saturn here, and it is in your 12th house. I think that it is important to kind of pay attention to that because this card is talking about how your hard work is paying off, and I think that's important to consider. Your hard work is paying off. Aries, you've been doing a lot of shadow work, probably more shadow work than most people right now because this is in your 12th house, all this Piscean energy. So when this moon conjuncts the ruler of Capricorn, this will give you an opportunity to really feel that your hard work is actually paying off. Maybe you'll actually have some sort of physical representation of your hard work paying off. I know it's been a little bit hard for you, Aries. I know it's been a little bit difficult for you. Like you haven't really been feeling like yourself, but I promise you, once that third week of March hits, you're going to be feeling a lot better. So just pay attention to this moment right now, like the moon in Capricorn, right? It's in Capricorn right now, Aries. And then, like I said, pay attention to the 10th. I think it's going to be a very important day for you. So, all right. So, Taurus. Taurus. Let's see what we got for you guys. Well, your card just wanted to come on out. All right, Taurus, we got the Chariot card here. Yeah, so I think Taurus, you're kind of leaving your comfort zone, this month. I think it's interesting because, this full moon lunar eclipse for you is happening in your sixth house. So this does have to do with like your day-to-day reality. So maybe some aspects of your day-to-day reality are going to shift, especially when it comes to your relationships and who you do relate to in your day-to-day reality. And that's, it's obviously very important. But also we're going to be building up at the end of the month to that new moon solar eclipse, which will be happening in your 12th house. So things are definitely going to start to kind of shake things are going to shake up for you, Taurus. But the Chariot, it's a nice card here. It's talking about, moving forward, having the confidence to, leave behind your comfort zone and really go out and explore the world and explore, what you're really capable of, Taurus. Bottom of the deck, I do have the Hangman in reverse. It's kind of an interesting card too. I do feel like Taurus, you kind of are like, whenever I think of the Hangman, I think of, having to kind of let go and let God, but I also think of like, what is it? Oh my gosh, dandelions. Yeah, I think of dandelions and how they're pretty much just going with the wind and they're pretty much at the mercy of the wind. And I feel like Taurus right now with the Hangman in reverse here too, it's like there could be some stubbornness, like you don't want to let go. It's like you're one of the seeds in that dandelion and you're trying to just hold on and not let the wind carry you. I mean, Taurus, you are technically the most stubborn sign of the zodiac. I mean, you are fixed Earth, so all the fixed signs are stubborn, but you're Earth, so you're like the most stubborn out of all of us. Let's be real. But once you get going, once you're inspired, once you believe in something, once you believe in yourself and you see the value in that thing, you have a motor that no one can stop. I mean, you have extra energy because you have an Aries 12th house. So Tauruses can pull energy out of seemingly nowhere. That's the cool thing about Taurus energy. They have they truly have an extra gear that really can just come out of nowhere, right? But like I said here, this is going to be about whether or not you can motivate yourself to kind of go outside your comfort zone a little bit and see the positivity in that and see the beauty in that. And honestly, Taurus, I think it's because you can feel that new moon solar eclipse is coming in your 12th. So it's probably better for you to let go and let God this month than have it. It's going to happen one way or another. Either you kind of start to initiate it this month and start to kind of see the other side and kind of go outside your comfort zone, or the new moon solar eclipse in Aries is going to force you to do so, and probably not the best way. It's probably going to be a little bit more volatile, probably a little bit more chaotic if you just try and hold on. So I think a Taurus, honestly, you kind of just have to allow the wind to carry you. I know you want to feel solid and secure, but I think you really have to just kind of allow the universe to carry you where it needs to carry you. And I think at least I think you have like an idea of what that looks like. And I think that you are destined for more than your current situation. You know what I'm saying? But you've gotten a little comfortable in it, Taurus. So let's see what the moon card is for you. Okay, let's see what we got. I have you are very close to achieving your goal. Very close to achieving your goal. Gibbous moon. So this will be essentially when the moon is in Virgo, right before the full moon. So like I said, this full moon is going to be important for everyone. But like I said, this moon is going to be essentially when it's trining your energy. You're very close to achieving your goal. So maybe this Hangman here in reverse is that last little bit that you kind of had to let go and let God. This last little bit of control that you have to let go of. so you can see what's out there. And, like I said, you are really close to achieving your goals. So like I said, that moon, when it's in Virgo, just going to go ahead and bring it up for you as well, because I did the same thing with Aries. You're going to want to be paying attention to when that moon is in Virgo. So you're going to be wanting to pay attention, the last little bit of the month. So, March 22nd, maybe even the 21st. But yeah, the 22nd, that 23rd, and that 24th. You're going to be wanting to pay attention to those days. Probably also because that moon is going to be making trines to Jupiter and Uranus on the 23rd, mind you. So that's Saturday the 23rd. It will be making trines to Jupiter and Uranus, which is in your sign. So I think, like I said, you're very close to achieving your goal. And, there's definitely some positive things that are happening here. It's just going to require you to kind of break out of your stubbornness a little bit and to, smell the bacon, see that there's a lot more out there for you and that you're capable of so much more than you give yourself credit to. I know I say that to everybody, but truthfully, Taurus, if there's anything that you get out of this, just know that you are able to summon energy out of thin air because you have an Aries 12th house. So it's like you're able, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, once a Taurus gets going and they value what they're doing and they have passion and drive behind it, damn near nobody can stop you. So just keep that in mind. So, alrighty then. All right. Geminis, my Geminis. I'm about to say my fellow Geminis, but I'm not a Gemini. I have like no Gemini energy. Oh, okay. Gemini. What do we have for you guys? All right, Gemini. The card I have for you. I have the moon. I have the moon, and then I'm gonna of course draw a moon card for you. But I have the moon. So Gemini, you guys are gonna be. I guess you guys are gonna be in your feels this month, Gemini. And the moon's just gonna be like, it's gonna be hitting all these different things, making all these different aspects. And of course, if you watch me daily, you'll know when the moon is making certain aspects to certain planets. So, but you're definitely going to be a bit more in your feels this month, Gemini. Bottom of the deck, I do have the Hermit card. Interesting. So, Gemini, normally you are one to want to go out and socialize and all that sort of stuff, but there are going to be moments this month where you need to go into hermit mode, where you need to, because I think the moon is here, your psychic senses and your levels of empathy are going to be a bit heightened this month. So you're going to be feeling other people's emotions a lot more, which is going to require you to have to recharge your social battery, and to charge your spiritual battery. So, if you know any Geminis and they just suddenly like disappear for like a couple of days, don't be alarmed. They're just going to recharge. But I think this honestly would be a good thing for you, Gemini. I think it's good for you to kind of just go and recharge. I think it's also considering the fact that we have all that energy in your 12th house. We have Uranus and Taurus there. They're coming into their major conjunction, which is going to happen in May. So we're building up to that. This full moon lunar eclipse for you, it's happening in your 5th house. So pretty big deal, especially it's going to be dealing with like your relationships and stuff, but there's going to be major changes that are going to come in your relationship, especially romantically. So, Gemini, I really do feel like there's going to be definitely urges for you to want to socialize and go out there and be with people and do all that sort of stuff that you normally like to do. But then there's going to be moments where you really just want to like just hermit it up and not really bother with anybody. And don't fight the urge. Don't fight the urge. If you feel intuitively called to just not go out, one night. I'm saying, like, normally you go out, but you just say, like, I'm gonna just stay home and chill. Honor that, honor your vibration. If there's anything I want to say to Gemini, is just honor your vibration and honor your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Don't get so caught up in your feelings, but honor them. If you don't feel like going out, but you normally would say that you would go out, and maybe you legitimately want to go out those times. But if you don't feel like doing it, don't do it. Right? Simple as that. And people may think that you're a little bit weird. They may think that you're acting a little out of character. Oh well, who cares what they say? You know what I'm saying? So just honor your feelings this month, Gemini. That's going to be the most important thing that you can do. Now for your oracle card. Yeah, right here. Now for your oracle card, I have interesting. I have full moon in Taurus. So obviously we're not going to be getting a full moon in Taurus, but you want to pay attention to the moon in Taurus, right? And of course that moon is going to be in your 12th house. This is why, you're having to do a bit of a reset. When the moon goes into Taurus, that's going to be, let me just go ahead and just pull that up for you. So since I'm doing that for all the signs, the moon is going to be in Taurus. So essentially, the moon will move into Taurus on the 12th, and then it'll move out, pretty much at the end of the 14th, right? So you're going to want to pay attention to those particular days. So I think and that's actually the week where things are kind of chill. We have like those days where it's like a lot of building energy and there's not really a whole lot happening. But for you, of course, the moon is going to be conjuncting Jupiter, conjuncting Uranus, you know what I'm saying? So you want to just pay attention to when the moon is in Taurus. The card says your dreams need a practical plan. So it's like, if you're wanting to, and this is coming right after, this is coming after the new moon in Pisces, right? So it's like, and that is happening for you in your 11th house. So yeah, there's a lot of things when it's coming to people and relating to others. And new moon in your 11th, a full moon, lunar eclipse is happening in your 5th. So this is dealing with a lot of things when it comes to, it's dealing with a lot of things when it comes to the relationships and stuff like that. And so like how you relate to other people and romance and different things, how you connect to people. I think you're going to be doing a lot of just kind of recalibrating when it comes to that. And I think the moon in Taurus is going to give you an opportunity to kind of really feel into whether or not you actually are on the same vibration as some of these people, especially when that moon hits the Uranus energy, So and the good thing is that the moon is exalted in your sign, right? So like I said, even though we're not getting a full moon in Taurus, you still want to pay attention to when the moon is in Taurus, from the 12th to the 14th. I think it's going to be very impactful for you, and definitely you want to pay attention on that day, especially when the moon is conjuncting that Jupiter and that Uranus. So now, who are we on to next? We're on to Cancer. We are on to Cancer. All right, Cancer, let's see what we got for you. Cancer, I have the King of Wands in reverse, so you may be dealing with a fire sign this month, either an Aries, a Leo, or a Sag. King of Wands in reverse, so I do feel like there's going to be a fair amount of focus when it comes to probably the Aries energy, if anything. So you might want to actually watch Aries video. I'm saying that because they got the Sun card in reverse, and the Sun exalts in Aries, but then you have this King of Wands, and he's also in reverse. So it does kind of give me a similar vibe to the Sun card reverse there. The King of Wands here. I don't know. I'm getting like this energy of like how a lot of leaders in the past and even now still, but they would pretty much equate themselves to the sun, if you will, and they were like they would equate themselves to like God essentially. But this is in reverse, so it's like I don't think it's you. This could be someone that you're dealing with, but I think there's going to be kind of like a check to ego, if you will. And I don't know if it's necessarily happening to you. I'm going to see what the bottom of the deck is. I do have the Five of Cups in reverse. Five of Cups is the crying over spilled milk card. With it being in reverse, it's like an even deeper inability to kind of let go, or maybe we're making it a lot bigger than it really needs to be. I think this King of Wands here, it's really saying that I'm really hearing that you need to connect to. Actually, I got it. So I'm just kind of had to like pause and just kind of let it come in. The King of Wands is someone, or even yourself, in a way that you've kind of been relying on for answers. They've held themselves in a high regard. You've kind of put in this person on a pedestal, if you will. And like I said, that's why earlier I was saying that this was giving me the vibes of leaders in the past and emperors, whatever like that, equating themselves to the sun. And all their people would just rely on them, and they were the only ones that could talk to God. They were the only ones that could speak to the divine. It came through them. I think this King of Wands, whether you see them as someone in a role like that, like a preacher or a pastor or something like that, or whether or not, I think this is someone that you've probably put on a bit of a pedestal and you have sought answers from or got answers through. It's in reverse. They're not going to have the answers. I think you're going to be realizing that it is time for you to kind of rely on your own merits and your own connection to God and your own connection to spirit and your own connection to the divine. The Five of Cups in reverse is like like I said, maybe they fed you some information, or maybe, like I said, emotionally you're just feeling a bit off, but there's something that has spilled here. And it's like you haven't wiped it up yet. It's like you spilled the milk and you haven't wiped it up, and now it's starting to like stink and rot. Like it's starting to not smell good. You know what I'm saying? And it's starting to get sticky. I'm getting a sticky kind of energy. This full moon lunar eclipse happening in your fourth, right? So it's going to be pretty emotional anyway. And you rule the fourth, but it's a lot of it's going to have to do with like family stuff. You probably have to do with like childhood stuff too, with this full moon lunar eclipse. So some of you guys may be dealing with issues with your mother on this, with this full moon lunar eclipse in your fourth house, and then of course you're getting squared by this Mercury and this Chiron and stuff like that. So yeah, Pluto's not opposing you anymore, but you're still getting squared and you're still getting challenged by these different aspects. So Cancer, I really do feel like this month will give you an opportunity to start to rely on your own connection more and not necessarily have to rely on other people that you think have some sort of power or leverage or some type of maybe they're more qualified. I think that's what it comes down to. You feel like this King of Wands is a little more qualified, but the fact of the matter is that something got spilled here with the Five of Cups, and you have for some reason neglected to wipe it up. Normally you wouldn't do that. But maybe it's time for you to actually start focusing on yourself instead of trying to always emotionally be there for other people, especially with this King of Wands in reverse. This is an emotionally unavailable person, right? So that's the thing about this. It's time for you to stop being there for emotionally unavailable people, because they're just going to keep knocking your cups down. And if you just ignore it, then your fourth's going to get sticky. You know what I'm saying? So like you don't want to put yourself in that position of Cancer. All right. So interesting. I said there was a connection with Aries, and you got new moon in Capricorn. New moon in Capricorn. Your hard work is paying off. So watch Aries video. Like like said, when the moon's in Capricorn, which is happening right now, of course, you want to pay attention to this moment right now, but you also want to pay attention when the moon hits Saturn. So, like I said, go watch Aries Cancer. That is your homework, to go watch Aries, because there is a link between y'all two this month. I think you guys can help each other too. And I'm not saying that the King of Wands is Aries, but I am saying that, you know, there's a King of Wands like figure in your life, whether it's you or somebody. And I don't think you have to just X this person out of your life either, but I'm just saying that, like, there's a connection there with Aries. And, you know, I think this person you kind of are holding in some high reverence, but you're starting to see that they're just a person, you know. And it may shatter your kind of reality a little bit. But, you know, you've been doing a lot of work too, Cancer. Your hard work is paying off. Trust me, you've been doing a lot of work. You still have a bit of work to do, you know, but Pluto opposing you for as long as it has been, it's not been easy, right? Y'all have been under attack, and you know that, right? Yeah, you know that y'all been under attack, so it has not been easy, Cancer. So just give yourself a little bit of grace this month, and know that you can find those answers within you, and it doesn't have to come from someone else. And like I said, stop trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho. You don't have to be Captain Save-A-Ho this month, for real. Leo. Leo. All right, Leo, let's see what we got for you. See what we got for you this March. I got the King of Wands putting upright. Cancer, maybe you're dealing with the Leo. You have the King of Wands upright. Leo, you're gonna be feeling more powerful. I think it's kind of interesting that for Cancer it was reversed, and now for you it's upright. So it's like, maybe you should watch Cancers. Maybe Cancers and Leos are dealing with some weird energy this month and stuff. But, you know, Leo, I think you're gonna start to feel stronger. I think you're gonna start to feel better. It's gonna help that the sun is moving into its exaltation, into Aries, you know what I'm saying? So that's going to feel a lot better for you, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's your ninth house too, right? So it's going to definitely, well, not your ninth house. Excuse me. Wait. Yeah, no, wait, yeah, your ninth house. Jesus. I'm saying, like, let me make sure I get it right. For a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Yeah, it's moving into your ninth house. So that's good. It's a positive thing, right? So the sun moving into your ninth house, you know, you're starting to get a little more fire energy back. You're starting to get some more positivity back as far as that goes, you know. So you're definitely going to start to feel better. Kind of like I said with Aries, you're going to start to feel better once that third week of the month comes, you know. You're going to start to feel like the king again, you know, Leo. I think that's really important. I mean, you are the king of the zodiac in many ways. So it's like, and all the other signs can bitch and complain about that, but that's just the fact of the matter is that you are the kings and queens of the zodiac. It is what it is. And people don't have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you haven't really been feeling like yourself, Leo, but especially because we had all this Aquarius energy, it was opposing you. And of course, Pluto's opposing you, which is definitely going to provide like an interesting challenge. But if there's anyone that's up to the challenge, it is you, Leo. You know, and I think a lot of times what happens is that Leo will definitely put on a brave face many times, and you won't necessarily see when Leo's struggling because they just want to present themselves as being on it and stuff. Because a lot of times it's different than what Sag and Aries does. When Aries is kind of down about things, they get angry. When Sag is down about things, they get depressed. When Leo's down about things, you don't necessarily see it or know. Like they're surprisingly decent at hiding it. So, you know, that's the weird thing about Leo. I think that this will be a pretty good of month for you, especially like I said, once we get to that last little bit of the month. Bottom of the deck for you, I have is these Three of Wands in reverse. So I think the main thing for you, Leo, is that it is decision time, and it's time for you to stop contemplating on the fuck. I mean, at least in this card, it shows her. She's kind of dancing in a field with like the lotus flowers with hers, right? But with it being in reverse, this is like the time for pondering is over. The time for wondering is over. It's time to go for it. It's time to go get it. That's really what this month is going to be about for you, Leo. It's time for you to go get it. It's time for you to go after your dreams. Like I said, this full moon lunar eclipse for you is happening in your third house. So, you're going to be connecting with a lot more people this month and stuff like that. Maybe even connect with people from your past, with the South Node being there. Like I said, these energies moving into your ninth house. It's definitely going to feel a lot better, with that Aries energy there in your ninth house. So you're definitely going to be feeling a lot more positive. But I think it's time for you to stop really pondering, stop really worrying about things. And pondering and philosophizing, doing all those sort of things, that's a very ninth house sort of thing, right? So I think with that Mercury and that Chiron that's going to be coming together here in Aries, stuff like that, that can bring up some traumas. It can bring up some triggers with that Chiron energy and some wounding. But like I said, this is a time where you just gotta push through that. I'm not even gonna lie. It's like it is kind of a pull yourself up by the bootstraps kind of thing. But Leo, we kind of honestly need you to like really be Leo and do you. I'm not saying that to not take the time to process your emotions and to feel what you need to feel. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, I think we need you to do that. We really do. Because when you're able to do that, you're going to shine even brighter than ever before, if that was even possible, right? So that's the thing about it. Don't deny how you feel. Don't deny your emotions. Don't deny your struggles, if you will. But just know that that stuff is there. Those are lessons there that's going to help you to grow. It's going to help you to shine brighter, shine greater, But I think you've kind of been philosophizing a lot lately with this Three of Wands in reverse, but it's time for you to just stop pondering. It's time for you to actually just go for it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you're probably going to feel, it's probably hard for you to feel like you can go for it. But like I said, once the sun comes into Aries, the sun comes into its exaltation, you're definitely going to be feeling a lot better and feeling like you can go for it. If you can somehow figure out a way to start taking some steps before then, amazing, great, awesome. You know what I'm saying? So now for your oracle card, I have balance, spirituality, and practicality with the full moon in Pisces. So you want to pay attention to when the moon is in Pisces. So you probably should also watch Aries and Cancer, Leo. You probably should also watch them because while they have full moon in Capricorn, I highlighted the fact that this is going to be more like a Saturn thing that they're going to be dealing with. So for you, yeah, there's going to be a new moon in Pisces. So it's kind of interesting. It's a little bit reversed, right? But for you, like I said, pay attention to when that moon is going to be in Pisces. Pay attention to when the moon is with Saturn. Pay attention to when it's making those conjunctions. Pay attention to that new moon that's going to be happening on the 10th. It's going to be a powerful time. And like I said, balancing the spirituality and the practicality, I think Leos have to remember. We have to remember the spiritual, but also remember the practical. I think a lot of times Leos can get caught up a little bit more on the spiritual aspects of things and more the creative aspects of things, but we also have to learn how to balance things out. So I think Leo, like I said, definitely pay attention to when that moon is in Pisces. And like I said, the ruler of Pisces, Neptune, is there as well. So I would say pay attention to that. Pay attention also to when Mercury is conjuncting Neptune, which is going to be, let's see, hold on. I'll just go ahead and bring this back. So, I mean, yeah, we're going to see, like I said, that moon is going to be with Saturn. Mercury is going to be coming off of that conjunction to Neptune, you know what I'm saying, which happens on the 8th. So definitely pay attention from like the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th. Like I said, that's going to be a pretty powerful weekend. I've already been saying that 8th, 9th, and 10th is going to be pretty important. I know, Leo, you probably would want to go out and party and stuff like that, but I guess make sure just you're partying with the right people and with good company, and try not to overdo it too. I really would not try to overdo it that weekend, just because I'm cautioning everyone with that weekend because I think it's going to be it's a dark moon. That's the other thing about this moon in Pisces. It's a dark moon. You know what I'm saying? So it's like anytime you get to a dark moon, energies are a little bit more. It's subtle, but it's a little more intense, and we have a tendency to want to escape a lot more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like right before the new moon, right before the new cycle. So we have a tendency to want to escape and maybe escape our thoughts, escape our responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the moon that's going to conjunct Saturn before it happens. Yeah, there may be a desire to want to escape our responsibilities. So Leo, don't escape your responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? And then that's why the King of Wands has come up here. It's like, don't escape your responsibilities. You have a responsibility to yourself, to be the best that you can, And I know that seems like a decent amount of pressure, but if there's anyone that can handle the pressure, it is you, Leo. But at the same time, like I said, this new moon will give you at least an opportunity to kind of refresh yourself spiritually. I think that's the beautiful thing about this. So, but just remember to balance the spirituality with the practical aspects of life too, and you'll be good to go. So, alrighty then. So, we are on to Virgo. Oh, they did not want to shuffle like at all with that last one. Okay. All right, Virgo. Virgo, I have the Chariot card for you. So you probably want to also pay attention to Taurus. It seems like there's like a link here. So I have the Chariot card for you. So yeah, like I said, this could be you kind of leaving the homestead, if you will, kind of leaving your comfort zone and kind of going out and exploring and seeing what the world has to offer. Bottom of the deck, I do have the Prince of Swords. So nice. So we have the Prince of Swords. And yeah, so this is or the Page of Swords. This is going to bring up some, an opportunity for you to kind of expand your mind this month and kind of learn something new, learn something fresh. And that's kind of like the nice thing about this. Some of you guys, Virgo, some of you guys may actually decide to go back to school. I can see that with the Chariot and the Prince of Swords here. So some of y'all may actually decide to go back to school or just learn something new. Maybe you pick up a new hobby and you start to teach yourself about that. I think that's something that could definitely happen for you this month. It's full moon lunar eclipse happening in your second house. So it has a lot to do with value, has a lot to do with money, finances, those sort of things. So I think you're going to start to see value in new things and learning new things. So I think that's going to be that. Virgo, I think this is actually a pretty good month for you. I think it's going to give you an opportunity to kind of expand your horizons a little bit and learn about new things, learn about new people, learn about new cultures potentially. Because some of you guys may be deciding to go back to school this month. Maybe you don't go back to school this month, but maybe you decide to go back, or maybe some of you guys go into like a trade. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing, because those things aren't necessarily confined by the typical school year, like this typical like college school year. You may decide to go into a trade. So that's something that's cool. But whatever it is, it's going to help you to expand your horizons. So that's pretty cool, Virgo. I like that. Now, for your Oracle card, let's see what we have for that. Oh, I accidentally pulled two cards. Interesting. I accidentally pulled two cards. So I have, interesting, I have mutable moon, nothing is set in stone, and then I have new moon in Sagittarius, luck is on your side, which is a mutable moon. So it's a little bit redundant, but definitely, like I said, so with this, I would just say, pay attention to when the moon is in Sagittarius. So the last little bit of the month. And then I would say also pay attention to whenever the moon goes into Taurus, ironically, and conjuncts Jupiter, because because Taurus also got the chariot and Jupiter is in their sign. So watch Taurus's video, Taurus's section on here as well. But you want to pay attention, I would say, mostly whenever the moon conjuncts that Jupiter. I think that's going to be probably the most important day for you as far as like what to pay attention to. And that's going to be happening on the 13th. So conjuncting Jupiter on the 13th at 13 degrees, right? So pay attention to that day. That's going to be a pretty important day for you. I think it's going to, and for you, that energy is happening in your 9th house. So Jupiter is in the house that I like to be in. Yeah, of course, I'd rather be in Sagittarius, but at least it's in the 9th house to you, Virgo, where it likes to be. And this has a lot to do with learning and education and being a student. So like I said, this can be, and like I said, nothing's set in stone, luck is on your side. So I think, like I said, this is a good opportunity for you to learn something new, learn something fresh, maybe go to school or pick up a new hobby, or, you know, kind of go outside your comfort zone and talk to new kinds of people and stuff like that, new groups of people, and seeing the value in that and expanding on that. I think, like I said, I think it'll be a good month for Virgo. I think you're going to be learning a lot. I think you're going to be coming into a lot of good stuff, opportunities for extending and expanding upon your education this month. Virgo, I think it'll be pretty positive for you overall. So good deal. Good deal. I like that. I like that a lot. So, okay. Libra. Give this deck a good shuffle for the last 6 signs. So we've been getting some doubles already and stuff. So, you know, that tends to happen with these. It tends to be some links between certain signs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, Libra, let's see what we got for you. Libra, I have the 7 of Swords. I have the 7 of Swords. So maybe you are feeling like you're getting robbed. What's interesting about this deck is that it doesn't show someone holding the sword, so they're like in the ground. You know what I mean? They're in the ground, so and their back is turned. So that's the other thing about it. You can't see their face. They're just kind of holding up their cape and stuff like that and kind of walking off into the moon's where the moon is. So yeah, you could be feeling like you've been robbed. You can feel like someone's trying to get something out of you this month. That's what the bottom card is for a little bit more clarity. Well, we got the 5 of Wands. Oh gosh, Libra, what? Maybe so there's gonna be a little bit of drama for the Libras, which you guys are no stranger to drama. Y'all kind of attracted like it's nothing. Y'all love drama. Y'all kind of thrive in it. But I don't think this is as bad as you think it is. Because there's like no guarantee that this is the person that stole from you or robbing you, because they don't have the swords done. They're stuck in the ground. So I would just be very careful, Libra, of accusing people this month without having the full picture and having all the information. This full moon lunar eclipse, of course, is happening in your sign. So you're going through a major transformation this month with that alone. But yeah, I would just be cautious about pointing fingers and accusing people without having all of the answers. 5 of Wands here definitely is going to bring up some petty shit throughout the month, petty weird drama, people maybe not necessarily understanding you. And honestly, it has a lot to do with that South Node being in your sign. You guys are kind of on a bit of a revenge tour. You know, the way that Scorpio handled the South Node in the sign is that we just brooded the whole time. The way that you guys are kind of handling it is like you are doing your best to not be near as codependent, because Libra can be codependent as fuck. But now it's like you guys are not being as codependent and shit. You're kind of taking your power back a little bit, and people don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that could cause some frustration and stuff like that, you know. So I would, like I said, I would say just like don't outsource your happiness for other people, but also at the same time, don't go around just pointing fingers and accusing people because, like I said, that full moon or eclipse in your sign is going to have you're pointing four fingers back at yourself. You know what I'm saying? So just remember that. And like I said, you're probably not going to have the full information anyways. So, you know, now, if they're like robbing you like right in the front and stabbing you right in your chest, whatever like that, that's another thing. But you know, I think that you know with this sort of energy, you're not really going to know exactly. You know what I mean? So I would say just be careful of being too accusatory this month, if you will. You know, um, I know you're gonna probably want to feel like you need to defend yourself too. Just considering. Let's see what the moon card is. I'm very curious to see what the moon card's going to be. Libra, I always get something weird for you guys. Why is that? Why do I always get some weird shit for you guys? Expect powerful change. New moon eclipse. Maybe this month is just like a precursor for the new moon eclipse that we're going to be getting in Aries in your 7th house. So yeah, just I think that's what you're feeling the whole month. You know what I mean? I would do my best to just not take things personally this month. So since I'm getting this card, I would say, I guess, pay attention when the moon is in Aries. Pay attention when Mercury comes there and when the sun comes there. But yeah, like obviously when we're in between eclipses and we're headed towards that new moon eclipse, you're going to be feeling that energy a lot. Like a lot. Now at the end of the month, the moon's going to be in Sag. So coming into April, we'll see the moon go back into Capricorn. But you know, yeah, we're going to be in between the eclipses. So the energy is going to seem a bit quiet because there's not going to be a lot of aspects happening between planets, but the moon is still going to be making aspects. And the moon will, like I said, it'll eventually will go into Capricorn and start to square that energy, that Aries energy, and square your sun, right? So it does kind of feel like, honestly, Libra, this whole month is like in preparation for the new moon eclipse that's going to be happening in your 7th. So it's kind of like a precursor, if you will. So kind of an interesting reading for you guys. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I said, I would just do my best to not take things too personally this month and to do your best to not point fingers. That would be my recommendation for you guys. Scorpio, my fellow Scorpios. How are y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? I'm doing all right. I'm making it good. All right, let's see what we got for my fellow Scorpios out there. What we got going on this March. Full moon lunar eclipse in the 12th. That's going to be fun. Oh, I just drew 2 cards just like that. Okay, all right. I have the 4 of Wands upright and the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Scorpio, I actually really like this for you, Scorpio. The 4 of Wands here is the card of commitment. That's the way I like to see it. A lot of people like to see it as the card of marriage, celebration, and I think that's a good thing, you know, too. 10 of Pentacles in reverse, not bad at all. Maybe you're probably feeling like, I mean, it'd be one thing if it was like the 5 of Pentacles or something like that, or the 4 of Pentacles or something. But the 10 of Pentacles in reverse is not bad. I think it's just about like maybe the money isn't coming the way that we thought it was going to come, or when maybe don't feel as valuable as we thought we were going to. But the 4 of Wands here is reminding us of our commitment, reminding us of why we're even doing this in the first place, Scorpio. So I think for you, this is really going to be a month where you recommit in many ways back to your path. You recommit back to the thing that is that you're wanting to build with that 10 of Pentacles, because beautiful things can happen. You could make a good bit of money this month. You could really start to, or at least start to feel more valuable. I think the 10 of Pentacles in reverse is like maybe you don't feel as valuable as you probably don't feel as valuable right now. But the fact of the matter is that you are incredibly valuable. You are incredibly valuable. It's about whether or not you are going to commit to the path, or whether you're going to really commit to yourself and really commit to getting up every day, tackling the world, doing that thing, reaching down deep like the Scorpio and like Scorpios can do, and just going for it, being inspired, being motivated, almost being, it's going to sound weird, almost be a little psychotic about it, like, because a Scorpio can be like it's like you have to almost like, it's almost like, it almost becomes like an addiction with Scorpio, right? But it's like you kind of have to tackle it in a way where you become obsessive, if you will, right? So it's like, that's the thing about this energy. I think Scorpio, it's like, you haven't really been like a Scorpio lately. You haven't really been that intense, almost like obsessive kind of energy. And that's probably why you're feeling more 10 of Pentacles in reverse. But it's like you kind of have to just go for it. You know what I'm saying? You have to bring back some potency into your life, Scorpio. I think that's really what this comes down to. It's recommitting to the potency of, if you will, of your actions, recommitting to that kind of energy. So I think it can be a very awesome thing. That full moon lunar eclipse, of course, happening in your 12th house, which is definitely going to be major spiritual releases when it comes to your relationships, how you relate to other people. And maybe that Four of Wands here can even give you an opportunity to, some of you guys may end up renewing your vows. Some of you guys may end up renewing your vows this month. Some of you guys have been older, maybe you just renew a vow to yourself, with that full moon. And even though it's an eclipse, if you will, and it's about releases and blah, 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 I don't really feel like it's divorce energy. I feel like it is more so of a recognizing that maybe there's some changes that have come, and we have to kind of recommit and, to our partner, ourself, and like look at our vows and all that sort of stuff. So it's like, I think this is a good time for Scorpio to kind of just take a look at all those things. Take a look at their vows, take a look at their commitments in life, and see where things have upgraded, where they had changed, where they had transformed. I think it could be a very powerful transformative month for the Scorpios, right? Now, the moon card I have for you, Scorpio. I have new moon in Libra, so clearly this full moon that's going to be happening in Libra is going to be super freaking important. But it says new romantic cycle begins, so that's what I'm saying. I wasn't really getting divorce energy with this. I was getting more of a renewal energy. So some of you Scorpios may end up in a new relationship. Some of y'all may even get married this month. But some of you guys, if you're single, would not be surprised if someone at the very least seriously piques your interest to the point where it kind of brings out that more obsessive quality of you, which you haven't experienced in a while. That's a good thing, right? So don't be afraid of that, because people have been telling you to not embrace that aspect of yourself. So you've been suppressing it. Don't suppress it, right? Don't get like psychotic about it and like go to their house at like 3 o'clock in the morning and just look through their window. Don't do that kind of weird shit. But like, yeah, like if it feels like, you know what I mean, Scorpio, you know what I mean, that weird, like intense, deep, very kind of almost obsessive kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like take that, harness it, and like run with that energy. So like I said, some of you guys with this energy, like I said, a new romantic cycle begins. So those of you, like I said, who are single, there's someone that's going to come along that's going to freaking like light up your heart. For those of you who are in relationships, this will give you a great opportunity to come together with your partner and to kind of reestablish things to, and not that anything can be, not that things will be necessarily bad either, but I think it will give you an opportunity to kind of recommit to them in a sense, especially in a more spiritual way, to kind of like maybe even get more of a game plan of seeing like, you know, what's the visions you guys have? What are you guys looking to achieve? What are the goals that you have? Especially with that 10 of Pentacles in reverse, you know, what are you looking to produce in your life? With this person, Scorpio. So I think it can be a very beautiful, powerful month for you, Scorpio, that will give you an opportunity to start to feel the potency of your energy again, which is something that I think Scorpios are desperately missing and desperately in need of. So yeah, that's what I got for y'all, Scorpios. All right, Sagittarius. 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 All right. Let me give this one more good shuffle. And let's see what we got for you, Sagittarius. I have the High Priestess. The High Priestess. So your intuition, it's going to be a bit heightened this month. Your intuition is going to be a bit heightened this month, Sagittarius. That full moon lunar eclipse for you is happening in your 11th house, right? So it's definitely going to be dealing a lot with like people and those sort of things. And I think because of that full moon lunar eclipse, what's interesting about it too is that I feel like there are going to be certain connections that you've had with certain people that are actually going to be cut off in a sense. So I would not be surprised if after that eclipse, which happens in the later part of the month, that some people just kind of dip out of your life. I'm not even gonna lie. Maybe because they've been kind of bringing on your energy, and maybe people that you maybe are a little bit empathetic for, but at the same time, I feel like there are going to be certain people that exit out of your life, and it's going to start to happen after this full moon lunar eclipse. But then that's going to allow other new relationships to either come in or existing relationships to kind of go to that next level. But I do kind of feel like, and normally Sagittarius, normally you're the one piecing out, but with this energy, it's going to be other people that are just piecing out of your life. Like if say like you work like in an office setting and there's that one chick or that one person that like one dude that really annoys the fuck out of you, they're going to get transferred to another division, or they're just going to like move away, or they may get fired. Like that's the kind of energy that this is. Like they're going to be piecing the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? But this is like, and I think this is something that you are intuitively are going to kind of know and kind of almost see coming. So, you know, very interesting as far as that goes. Bottom of the deck, I do have the card of Temperance in reverse. So I think the main thing here too, especially since this is your card and it being in reverse, is, you know, you want to be able to take these situations and you want to be able to alchemize them and morph them to definitely benefit you and stuff. With it being in reverse, there could be dangers of overindulgence though. So I will still just kind of be wary of that kind of energy. Intuitively, you're going to be guided a lot this month though. Your intuition is going to be a bit higher. But this also means with this High Priestess card that you're going to be a little bit more subject to the moon. You're going to be a little bit more subject to the way that the moon moves and the aspects that it's going to make. So you're going to be this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra. It's going to hit you hard. That new moon in Pisces, it's going to hit you a bit hard. That's on your 4th house, right? So just kind of be wary that your emotions are probably going to do a little bit of this, but not all those emotions are your own. So I think that's the other thing about it, is like you got to like be able to differentiate between which emotions are yours and which emotions are other people's. But like I said, with that eclipse in Libra that's happening on the 25th, and like I said, in your 11th house, there's going to be a cutoff, and certain relationships are just going to piece the fuck out. People are just going to piece the fuck out. Like it's gonna probably be weird. Like it's like intuitively you can feel it coming, but when it happens, it's gonna feel like it comes out of nowhere because it's an 11th house kind of energy. So you're gonna, whoa, what the fuck? Like you're gonna walk into work one day and you're gonna be like, yo, where's Wendy? Oh yeah, Wendy got transferred to another division, and you're like, what the fuck? Like really? Like it's gonna be that, or you can even be like your boss. It can be like maybe you have like an annoying ass boss or whatever like that, and you come in and your boss is like gone. And you have like a new boss, you know what I mean? Like, like it's that kind of a weird energy too. So it's like, like I said, I would just be careful of overindulgence this month, and I will be doing your best to like do your best to kind of keep things balanced, if you will, in your life. It's going to be a pretty interesting month. Like Sag, normally you're the one that's kind of doing a lot of the stuff, but this month you're going to be the one that's kind of observing a lot of stuff, and you're just going to kind of see things just kind of shifting and changing around you. So that's kind of the interesting thing about you, Sag. Now for your card, for your Moon Oracle card, I also have I shuffled this. I also have New Moon in Libra. So you might want to pay attention to Scorpio's energy as well, or Scorpio's reading. But yeah, like I said, that full moon lunar eclipse, which is happening for you in the 11th house, like I said, this is going to cut off certain relationships so other ones can either grow or come in and be new. So once again, Sagittarius, if you're single, someone may come by and just be like, it's different than Scorpios. Scorpios is going to be more intense and going to kind of bring back the potency of, like I said, that obsessive quality that Scorpio can kind of have. For you, Sagittarius, this is going to be someone that probably balances you out. This might be someone that is your opposite in many ways. And like intuitively, you're going to be more drawn to them, if you will. Someone that's like, if you like to go out a lot, they may be a homebody, or if you're like a homebody, they like to go out. This is going to be someone that kind of balances you out, if you will. And it's going to show you like a new, fresh perspective. So that's kind of the cool thing about this. But like I said, with the High Priestess, you're definitely going to be feeling a little bit more emotional this month. You're going to be feeling a lot. You're going to be feeling a lot of the people's emotions too, and you're going to learn how to kind of balance those emotions with your own and not get too wrapped up in them. Like I said, I'd be worried about indulgence, and I'll be worried about who you associate with this month, because you're going to be a little bit more impressionable this month, Sag. So like I said, definitely be careful of the company that you keep this month. All right, Capricorn. Capricorn, my Cappies. How are y'all doing? How you doing? All right, Capricorn. Give this thing a nice shuffle. Let's see what we got for Capricorn. All right, Capricorn. Let's see what we got. Capricorn, I have the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands. Look at this nice, distinguished fellow. Perhaps he's made a decision on which way to go. So I think, Capricorn, that's where you kind of are. You have to make a decision on which way to go. And it looks like you're feeling a little bit more distinguished. It seems like this month, like you have confidence, like you can move forward and stuff like that. But you still have to decide on which way to go, left or right. You know what I'm saying? Now, bottom of the deck, I have your card. I have the Devil card in reverse. So, I think this is going to be a month about resisting temptations for you. I think it's going to be a month about listening to your inner voice, not listening to a lot of the voices of those around you. But there's going to be definitely some temptations to kind of guide you in one direction or the other. And you have to, and this whole month is going to be about that. This whole month for you, Capricorn, is about coming to a crossroads and deciding, or a fork in the road, and it's like, all right, A or B, and whether or not you listen to the devil on your shoulder or not. And it's going to be a month full of that. Fortunately, there's going to be opportunities for you to get back on the path. So even if you choose the wrong direction, there's always an opportunity for you to kind of get back on path this month. So that's kind of the nice thing about this, Capricorn. But that's pretty much where this month is going to be. You're going to come to a fork in the road, have to decide A or B. Are you going to trust your heart and trust your gut, or are you going to listen to the temptations and what sounds fun and enticing and stuff like that? And then this is a month about integrity, Capricorn, for you. This is a month about integrity. And I think, of course, for you, that full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 10th house, right? So that's kind of a big deal. You ruled the natural 10th house. So this is definitely going to be a month about integrity, and making the right decisions. And like I said, don't get upset and mad at yourself if you don't always make the right decision. You know what I'm saying? But just do your best to learn from those situations and learn from your mistakes and keep it moving. I think that's really what it's about. Because if you get too caught up and get too down on yourself about what decision like you made and stuff like that, and if the outcome isn't necessarily that great, it is what it is. You pick yourself up, you learn from it, you keep moving forward. But now if you come to the same fork on the road like 4 times in a row and you keep making the same decision, then that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not learning your lesson. But if you slip up here and there and stuff like that, at least you're kind of moving forward. But if you keep coming to the same fork on the road, that means you're going around in circles, and that means you're not learning your lesson. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, this is going to be a month about maintaining your integrity this month, Capricorn, and doing what you know is right. And sometimes what we know is right isn't always the most fun choice. You know what I'm saying? It's not always the most glamorous choice, but it's going to be the choice that sets you free. And it's going to be the choice that takes you to the next level in life. So that's what we have to remember. Your Moon Oracle card. Your Moon Oracle card, interesting. Don't let the past hold you back. South Node. So the South Node is in Libra. That's where the full moon lunar eclipse is happening. So don't let the past hold you back. Yeah, that's really what it's come down to. That full moon lunar eclipse is going to be happening on the 25th. It's going to be really powerful for you. It's in your 10th house, right? So it's in the house that you naturally ruled. It's in your midheaven. You know what I mean? So a lot of this can be dealing with those relationships and stuff like that. And, how they kind of, for you, your relation. That's a funny thing about you, Capricorn, because your 10th house is in Libra. Your career, your legacy is directly tied to the people that you are involved with. It's directly tied, especially to the person that you are most involved with, which is your spouse, your partner. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that you really have to pay attention to. There are going to be times where even your partner may be like the devil on your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that you throw the whole relationship away. That just means that, sometimes your partner may say something that is not actually the way that you should go. You know what I'm saying? And you got to not take that so personally, you know what I'm saying? And still make the decisions and move forward in the way that you know that you need to move forward. But like I said, for you, your career, your legacy, sense of purpose, in many ways, the partner that you're with is going to amplify that. Or they're going to deconstruct it, if you will. And it's not necessarily that they don't even have to be necessarily like directly involved. It can be more of an indirect effect for you, Capricorn. But they are, intricately linked to that energy for you because it is your 10th house. So just, like I said, don't let your past hold you back. So that's the thing too. That's why you can't really get too caught up on if you made a mistake in the past. You can learn from it, but if you get too caught up on it and you let it hold you back, you will continue to, not take the right route, and you keep taking the same route and you keep going left or you keep going right, and then you keep going around in circles, and then you keep finding yourself back in the same position, in the same place, having the same argument with yourself, with your spouse, with other people. And if you're single, just with yourself or with your friends or your loved ones, you find yourself keep coming back to the same spot, same spot, same spot. You may feel dignified, you may look dignified like the person in this Two of Wands. You may feel like that, but you still have to walk in integrity. So just don't let your past hold you back. And yeah, it can be pretty easy for you to get down on yourself because you look at your past and you may look at your past mistakes and all that sort of stuff. So when that sun comes into your fourth house, when it comes into Aries, it should help to give you a little bit more firepower. It should help for you to feel a little bit better in general, I feel. But like I said, just this whole month for you, Capricorn, is about integrity. And I think also there's going to be a fair level of needing to forgive yourself this month too. Forgive yourself for the mistakes that you made in the past so you can finally move forward. All right. That was a little intense. Aquarius, what do we have for you? All right. Give this a nice little shuffle. All right, Aquarius. Let's see what we got for you today. Aquarius, I have the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles. Kind of feeling like you're on the outside looking in, feeling like other people have stuff that you don't and stuff. I think that could, maybe Aquarius, you're kind of feeling, a lot of this energy is leaving your sign. Venus is leaving. Mars is going to leave too. You know what I mean? So a lot of these energies are moving out of your sign and stuff. And Aquarius season's over. Pluto's there, but yeah, I think it's because you've had a lot of this energy for a while, and then it's going to start to leave. So you're going to be feeling a little bit of a deficit, if you will. But don't pay too much attention to that. Don't pay too much attention to that stuff. This new moon in Pisces for you is happening in your second house. So I think this definitely will kind of bring some refreshed and recycled energy when it comes to feeling your worth and value, especially from like a spiritual standpoint, if you will. And then of course that full moon lunar eclipse in Libra for you, yeah, that's going to be happening. And that's your ninth house, right? So this is going to give you an opportunity to start to believe in yourself again, honestly. And that's a great thing. Start to believe in yourself again, believe in what you're capable of, and even believe in some relationships again in your life. Maybe there's certain relationships that you're going to kind of come into some knowledge of. It's like, well, okay, maybe there's not much that's going to change with that relationship. But there's other relationships that in your life that you're going to see. It's like, oh wow, there's more here and that can evolve and take place and stuff. So bottom of the deck, I do have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Like I said, this is one of my favorite cards in the deck. Just because I call it the in the lab card. It's the study card. It's when you're working on your crafts. It's like you're putting in those reps. Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Honestly, your feeling of being left out with that Five of Pentacles and feeling like you're outside the church and you don't have anything and you don't feel like that feeling of like this lack of self-worth is pretty much directly proportional to the reps that you're putting in. The Eight of Pentacles in reverse, it's like maybe you're afraid to do the hard work, or maybe you're afraid to do the work when no one's looking. I think that's the thing about that. The Eight of Pentacles is the work that you do when no one's looking, right? And maybe Aquarius, the reason why you don't feel that great, maybe the reason why you're feeling maybe not as valuable, or maybe you're feeling like other people don't see your value, is because you do a lot of work when no one's looking, and it's not really getting acknowledged. Because Aquarius, you don't really brag on yourself. I think that's the thing about it. Aquarius, you don't really brag on yourself. That's what makes you a little bit different from Leo. You know what I'm saying? So because you don't brag on yourself, people don't see the hard work that you're doing when no one's looking. People don't see that hard work. They don't see the reps that you're putting in, But Who cares what other people think? Don't let other people make you feel this way. When you have all the value in the world, you have all the potential in the world. So I think that's really what this comes down to for you, Aquarius, is that you can't let other people's opinions of you define you. When you know good and well what you bring to the table, and you know good and well how much work each you've been putting in, no one really sees that except for maybe the closest people to you. They see the hard work that you're putting in. You know what I'm saying? But even them, they may not necessarily fully get it because they're not you. So I would say it's still just like have a little bit of grace on those people and stuff like that. And, try not to, I think Mars in your sign too, especially when it's left alone in your sign, you're going to be a little bit more impulsive after Venus leaves. Venus there kind of softened you a little bit, but when it's just Mars there and Pluto, you're going to probably feel a little bit more, reactionary, if you will. You know what I'm saying? But, don't worry about these people because they don't see the hard work that you're putting in. They don't know. They're ignorant. You know what I mean? So just, try not to take things too personally and just let bygones be bygones. If they don't get it, they don't get it. But you know what you bring to the table. You know the hard work you're putting in, and God knows. God sees that. So that's all that really matters. That's all that really matters, Aquarius. Now for your Moon Oracle card, I have full moon in Sag, so look at the bigger picture. So I will say definitely pay attention when the moon goes into Taurus and conjuncts Jupiter. I would say definitely pay attention to that. So that's going to be on the 13th. I would say also pay attention at the end of the month on like the 29th when the moon does go into Sagittarius. We're going to be in between those eclipses too. But yeah, I think this is about looking at the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like I said, don't get caught up on what other people may say or think. They don't see all the reps that you're putting in. I think it's about also the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. You got to value those reps that you're putting in. You got to see that they're worth it. You got to see that they're actually leading you somewhere, and you're not just doing this and you're not just going through the motions. It's actually taking you somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So it's like every little step counts. Every little step. Whatever goal that you set for yourself, there's a bigger picture. So yes, today it may only feel like, let's just say, I don't know. Let's just say that you want to, I'll just use like walking and running, right? Work your way up to that mile. You know what I'm saying? Work your way up to that mile. Start off with the walk, maybe and then run a little bit. But I think this is about you not seeing the value in your daily steps. You're not seeing the value in, that daily grind, what you bring to the table. And that little bit adds up. You know what I'm saying? Even if you collected even if you just collected like $5 or $10 a day, that shit builds up over time. These things build up over time. And that's the bigger picture that you have to see. So it's like it's kind of easy to get caught up in the day-to-day. But when you look at the big picture, you will see that those actions that you're taking really do matter. They may not seem like they mattered isolated, but together it's going to build up to something that's going to blow people's minds, and it's going to blow your mind too. All right, Pisces. Pisces, it is time to get your cards. Looks like this is going to hit about 2 hours or so, which I'm not really surprised. I think the last one was like just shy of 2 hours. So. All right, Pisces, the card that I have for you, I have the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles upright. And this is about just putting one step in front of the other and trusting the process, not skipping any steps. Don't skip any steps, otherwise you'll fall into the water, you'll fall into the river. But about taking one step at a time and trusting that you are being guided in the right direction. Bottom of the deck, I do have the Strength card. This is beautiful. I love this, Pisces. I think it's because we have a lot of this Pisces energy right now. Venus is going to be coming into Pisces this month. You have Saturn there, you have the Sun there, you have Neptune there. Mars will eventually move into Pisces too, right? So it's like there's a lot of Pisces energy right now. So y'all are feeling pretty good, especially when Venus comes there. Y'all are feeling pretty good and stuff. Your ruling planets there, y'all are feeling pretty good. So it's like I think Pisces for you, this is about just having the strength to keep taking steps every single day. It's kind of similar to Aquarius, but I think this is really just about having the strength to just keep moving forward. Stay focused on your goals, smile often. Honestly, Pisces, cards-wise, it's kind of simple. I think it's kind of simple. Ironically, I think you're actually going to be feeling pretty good when the sun actually leaves your sign and goes into the second house. It's going into the house of like value, and you're going to be feeling a little more confident, those sort of things. Mercury's going to be leaving your sign too. So, I think that this can be a very positive month for the Pisces, especially when we get that new moon in your sign. You're going to be feeling a lot more refreshed. So that's going to be a beautiful thing too. I think you're going to be a little bit more equipped to kind of handle some of these intenser aspects that are going to be happening. With Venus conjunct Saturn in your sign, with Mercury conjunct Neptune in your sign, I think you're going to be a little bit more equipped to handle these. So a lot of people are probably going to be looking to you for strength this month, Pisces, because you will be able to understand and even articulate some of these energies better than other people, especially while Mercury is in Pisces. People are thinking like a Pisces right now. And it's like, that's the weird thing about it. Not everyone's used to that, So I think Pisces, people may be coming to you a little bit more for advice and coming to you for a little bit more strength. But I think the main thing you want to focus on is just taking one step every single day, one step in front of the other, and just keep moving forward and like not stopping, you know what I mean? So I think that's really the most important thing for you, Pisces. Realizing that every day provides a new opportunity, and, do your best to take advantage of those opportunities. And if you miss an opportunity, just keep moving forward because another one will come, So it's like, having the strength to be yourself, having the strength to shine through, having the strength to, Pisces, we are super magical fucking beings. And I think it's about having the strength to just be your super magical badass self, because a lot of people are probably going to be actually looking to you who's like, how the hell do I make it through this time? It's like, and you're going to tell them you kind of have to be a little delulu, not totally delulu, but you have to be a little delulu, right? So, yeah. Pisces, the moon card I have for you, I have Disseminating Moon. Take time to breathe out. This is actually going to be when the moon is in Scorpio. So right after the full moon lunar eclipse, take time to breathe out. Take time to breathe out. So Pisces, I feel like the whole month you're kind of going to be like, you're going to be feeling strong and stuff like that. And then these energies are going to kind of move into Aries and stuff. And it's going to give you time to kind of exhale, if you will. Which is a positive thing. I think it'll give you an opportunity to kind of just like chill out. Like that last week of the month will give you an opportunity to kind of just chill out. And I think it's mainly because we're building up to the new moon solar eclipse in Aries, which is happening in your second house. And I think that's going to be pretty intense, for you, for it being like right there and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that are going to be coming up when it comes to like your sense of worth and value and money and different things like that. So take time this month. Remember to breathe. Remember to breathe out. Remember to exhale. You know what I mean? So it's like you're kind of holding things in and stuff like that. Or maybe there are going to be moments where you need to be strong this month, but also remember to exhale. You know what I mean? And to not be so tense. And, just remember you don't have to take 5 million steps. You don't have to run like the entire marathon. You can just take it step at a time. Some days you're going to feel stronger than others. Some days you're going to feel like you can run a mile or 5 miles, or 20 miles. And other days you're going to feel like you can only run, maybe you can only go a little bit, maybe you can only walk, and that's okay. Whether you actually do that or metaphorically, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's what I got for you, Pisces. And then I'm going to draw, of course, a card for everyone. So for all the signs. Let's see what we got for the whole collective. Let's see what we have for the whole collective for this March 2024. All right. I have the Judgment card. I have the Judgment card for everyone. Wow. Yeah, so this is definitely kind of like, as the Leo King would say, like an X Factor kind of moment. So I think it's interesting with this March. There's a lot of days of just building energy, but we still have some pretty intense days. You know what I'm saying? We have, eclipse at the end of the month. We have, so we have the Pisces new moon, Mercury entering into Aries. We're going to have the sun entering into Aries when Mercury's conjunct Chiron, and we're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse. So it's like anytime that you have an eclipse, though, it's kind of like judgment energy. It's kind of like definitely destined kind of energy. So even though there are a lot of days where the energy is going to be kind of chill and just kind of building, doesn't mean that March is not going to have its fair share of intense moments. So I think it's just kind of remembering that, and also, okay, I'm back. Yeah, sorry, I almost removed myself. But I think it's just kind of remembering that and stuff. Now, bottom of the deck, I do have the Lover's card. I have the Lover's card. So, man, it seems like a lot, because there was a lot of relationship stuff that did come up in these readings too. So, yeah, there definitely can be some focus when it comes to that kind of energy. I'm going to cut the deck too, just because. Well, I have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, so I mean, this talks about sparking off new things too. So, yeah, some of you guys are probably going to be ending up in new relationships this month. But I think because this is the collective, maybe we are actually going to be building a new relationship with how humanity is going to look like going forward. I think that's really what it comes down to. Like on a collective level, it's establishing this new relationship with what is humanity going to look like going forward. How is society going to look like going forward? And that's really what's kind of sparking off here. You know what I'm saying? So now for the moon card, I do have new moon eclipse, expect powerful change. So yeah, this whole month is pretty much leading up to that new moon solar eclipse in Aries, which I think is going to be very powerful. I do think the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra is going to be powerful, but it's like I felt like this entire month is just going to be kind of us just anticipating the new moon that's going to be happening in April. So because we know that there's going to be massive change that's coming, and it's going to be very, 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 very powerful, right? So, this month I think is going to be a month of preparation in many ways, but it's like we're preparing for this, new union, if you will, with. And it sounds very spiritual and esoteric, but it's like, yeah, it's like we're preparing for like this new union with, like, what is humanity going to look like going forward, and what are we doing, what are we inspired by, what are we passionate about? That's what's coming here. So pretty powerful month, I will say. It's going to have its fair share of intense days, and let's see what's going to come. So that's going to do it for this March 2024 astrology transit overview. I hope and trust that this assists you on your journey this month. And of course, I'll be diving deeper into every single day with those daily astrological transits. I'm probably just going to film Tuesdays tomorrow morning, to be fair, because I am a bit tired. This is 2 hours into this. And honestly, after doing these longer videos, it usually does. I do need to recover, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, evening, afternoon, whenever you decide to watch this. So I'm going to have the timestamps posted in the description so you can watch the various signs that you wish to watch. Although I do encourage everyone to watch every single sign because I do think it's important. But I love you all. Take care. Stay blessed. Have a wonderful March. And I will see you all on the next video. Peace.